as I was saying, you remember the old woman in the Old Testament with Elijah, right? How she was like, Elijah came there, he's like, man, I need you to make me some bread. She was like, I ain't got enough bread, just the bread for to feed me and my 2 kids. Elijah was like, you know what? She had to put up somebody else before. She was like, well, he says, let's make this bread for me. I'll make sure you ain't got no lack. And they made enough to feed and to last. Even with the oil, she had just a little oil left. God will make what you got work if you pay attention. But if you're hard-headed and stubborn, and you want everything your way, God's going to bring you down real quick. You know, a lot of times in households, you know why money is lacking? To teach you a lesson. And that goes for me and anybody else. Well, it's good. You got everything you need. Let's see. Look at it. Look how happy you is in God. And sometimes God's like, look how unhappy you are too. Because as long as you got everything you need, you smiling, you're laughing, you're joking, you're doing all this. Let me start taking from, let's see how you behave then. Some people, they get mad, they get angry. I can't go to McDonald's today. You need to find you a better job. You hear all kind of things, people. You say, we know how to be rich. But one thing we lack as human beings, we don't know how to go without. And I'm learning, and I've been learning. But it's been so long since I had to go without, since I had to spend my last dime on things that I had to do. God had to bring it back to remember, hey, I got you. Look back in your life, Houston. Look back when you didn't have enough. I remember, like, I tell people all the time, I smoke and I drink. There have been times since I went through my first divorce and been bouncing around trying to get my life back together, where I just had to sit there and wait and talk to God, commune with God, and take what comes my way and not get bitter about it. Like, I might have 1 cigarette left. He'd be like, stretch that one. Stretch that for about 4 hours. See if you can go without it. You know, when you got it, you seem like you can smoke constantly. But when you don't, you're like, shit, well, let's see if you can handle that. Let's see if you can handle just having top ramens in the house and bread and cheese and some lunch meat before you can get the steak. You know what I'm saying? And it's just amazing how God, if you look back in your life and see how God has sustained you and humbled you in so many ways, and then you'll start seeing when other people are not as humble. Because every time they ain't got what they want, they start acting like little small brats. And guess what? At one point in time, you was the same little, small, spoiled brat because you didn't get what you want. You know, one of the biggest issues in my life is like, my wife, she wants to go a lot of places. She does. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a homebody. Over the years, God has turned me to a homebody. I ain't got to go to nobody's house to have fun. I ain't got to go to nobody's house to enjoy my life. If God put me in a house that pay bills and rent and water and cable and internet and all that stuff there, I'm going to enjoy it. This been happening over years, though, to teach me, because when I had money, a lot of times back in the day, I want to run out. I want to run away from my house. I want to do this and that. And I tell my wife all the time, hey, home first. You know, one thing about it, I'm trying to secretive with my funds. I try to act like I got it figured out. And a lot of times I don't. I just got figured out who to trust. You know, I don't really tell my wife how much money I got, a lot of things like that. I let her think what she wants. You understand? And most people like, that's kind of, you should tell her everything. Sometimes you tell your wife everything, you're going to start arguing about everything. Sometimes it's best to just keep your mouth silent and see how things play out. You understand? And that's what you do. But Psalm 91 is a great psalm to read every once in a while. And get in the habit of looking at who the author was. Like, this is from David. And then you just kind of put yourself in David's shoes. Be like, I wonder why David prayed this prayer. I wonder what time of life he was going through when he had to go and pray this way. Like, why was he praying against his enemies so much? Like, I wonder what was going on right there. But you're going to start seeing your life in it. You're like, man, I'm going through this right now. Oh, I understand what David was going through. Oh, I understand what Paul meant. I understand what Peter meant. I understand what 1 Timothy and 2 Timothy was all about. I understand what 1 Thessalonians and 2 Thessalonians was all about. You're going to start seeing yourself in that Bible. The more you read it and the more you go through things. Because God is trying to teach you, like, let's put it this way. if I read Psalms so many years and so many things back to back, and God has delivered me so many times, then you can be like, hey, you know what got me through this? Reading Psalms. Psalm 91 is, I love that. You know, try that out. You know what I'm saying? Because it works. But the thing is, once you develop a personal relationship with God, you're going to start seeing how things line up. Like sometimes, like I believe in trusting in the Lord a lot, all the time, for real. But the thing is, when you read those Psalms sometimes, and you're like, why am I reading Psalms constantly? Because sometimes God knows things that you don't know. You know there are enemies trying to destroy you that you don't even know about. You went from Genesis reading milk and honey, and I will bless those that bless you and bless those that curse you. Then you start going to Psalms, you be like, the wicked will fall and all this stuff like that. You're like, well, I tell people straight up, you got to trust in what you read and trust in God for sure. People love, like, one thing about us as Christians, this is one of the hardest solutions in the Christian faith, that sometimes some of your enemies are going to be destroyed. And as a Christian, you are taught to love everybody. But guess who else loves everybody? But you also know as a Christian, some people and some places, some things have to be destroyed in order for you to move forward. Some things going to have to be removed in order for you to move forward. And in regards to looking in the mirror sometimes, maybe I want to take this from you. Maybe I want to take that from you. I want to see how you act without this. I want to see how you good right now. Let's see how you act without it. Like I was watching My Only Son. It's about the story of Abraham. It's on Google Prime. I mean, it's on Amazon Prime. If you want to watch it, it's free on Amazon Prime. It's called My Only Son. It's about the story of Abraham. And we look at Abraham's story and be like, man, there's no way I could have did that. Okay, let's say God came to you when you was young and said, I'm going to make a great nation out of you. And then 70 years later, or so, however so many of those years later, you and your wife still ain't had a kid. And like that put you in their mindset, like imagine what they was going through. They had brought up the story in regards to the part where Sarah said, go into my maidservant Hagar. And she was just like, you know, maybe God said, I will bless you. And so he convinced her, and he went and slept with the maidservant. And then the wife called him in, and now she mad. She be like, yeah, I told you, but you did it. You did it, and you went out there. I'm like, boy, I just only imagine. Think about this. They ain't got the book that we got. They had to go through straight trust phase. Think about Abraham. Abraham came to him. But it took years and years for him to finally come to Sarah. Hey, I told you I'm going to bless you. Then he was like, why did your wife laugh? Oh, why did she? I didn't laugh. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You didn't trust. You didn't trust. But you're going to have a baby about this time next year. You know, I've been telling you this for years. And a lot of times, that's what messes us up a lot of times. God put a dream in our lives. He put a dream in our mind. He put a dream in our purpose. And we like, God, I know God told me this is going to happen. Years pass by. Think about it in the wilderness. You go into a land flowing with milk and honey, which took 2-week journey. But here it is 3 weeks later. Like, You see, a lot of people look at that story like it wouldn't have took that long if they was obedient. It took exactly how long God wanted it to take. Because sometimes God got to read out the real from the fake. You know, he said anger rests in the bosom in the mouth of fools, right? Sometimes God allows people to get angry so you can see the truth. Oh, y'all finna be mad at me on this one. Listen to what people say when they're angry. He said, what is sin? He said, there's nothing that goes into a man that defiles a man, but what comes out of a man. You ever argue with somebody? Or you ever argue and say something that you wanted to say, but you never said it? But as soon as you had a little buzz, or you get mad, now you want to say it. You see, that's what God is trying to tell you in regards to, it's not what goes in. You said it, and you can't take it back once you said it. I don't care how bad it was. That goes for me and anybody else. You can't take words back. Like, Lord, I'm sorry, I said. You can repent of it, but you can't take it back. Once the thing you got to realize, the damage is done once it leaves your mouth. And sometimes you can speak a hateful truth out of your heart in anger. Something you've been wanting to say to somebody. And then you want to apologize later like, you know, I'm sorry I said that. I shouldn't have said that. That wasn't me. That wasn't me that said it. Who else said it? You want to blame it on the devil? I hate that, man. I hate when people that, oh, the devil said it. Oh, you let the devil in. And you said it. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I pay attention to all that. Because the Bible said that's a time to be angry. Right? So sometimes hearing that anger from somebody, sometimes it'll be an open rebuke that's so real and so true that you can't help but take it. But sometimes it'll be just somebody out their own heart speaking some evil words. And you like, well, that sounds like they let the devil in and let the devil say some things. But the thing is, they said it and it hurts and it bothers me. But if I react the same way, now I'm in the same boat. So I might want to shut up before I say something I shouldn't say. And so you understand, people. You learn a lot when anger, when you're upset. You learn a lot about yourself when you got less. You do. You learn a lot about yourself, what you're capable of, what you can handle. And this all happens, why? Because God is trying to show you some things. Lean you to the truth that is his. Think about it. He's trying to remove wickedness from the world. You're going through a rebirth process. That's why I don't like beating people up a lot. But sometimes I get angry just like the Bible tells you not to. Same with you and anybody else. Sometimes I'm slow down, sometimes I'm quick to anger. And I try not to be. But you know what though, it helps? This book. Every time. You know, but sometimes you gotta go through things. Like, me and my wife been going back and forwards so much. And a lot of things she say, I'm like, what can I do about this? And I look back in my life, people, like, since my first marriage and my first divorce, I just seen the same issue keep falling up. And I'm like, oh, Lord, what am I doing wrong? Because the same issue keep plaguing my life. I'm like, what do you want me to do about it? And a lot of times I'm telling y'all straight up, boy, I get this answer so much that sometimes you get tired of getting that answer. Trust me. That's all you're going to give me, Lord. That's all I'm going to give you. Because God is a God of surprises, too. God is not going to tell you everything. The Bible tells you straight up, I know the thoughts I think towards you. He tells you that straight up, people. Straight up. He tells you. But we still want to know more. Even one of the prayers of David, like, tell me my end, Lord. He never told. He tell everybody the end. I'm going to give you an expected end. I'm going to give you a peaceful end. I'm going to give you a quiet end. He tells everybody their end, if we stay at it. You see how it is? He tells us the reward of the wicked. He tells us that too. Hey, this is what happens when people are overly wicked. This is what happens when people ain't trustworthy. And a lot of times we look at our life, well, we got to look at it from this perspective. Well, I must have caused that. I did that. That was me. I messed up. You know what I'm saying? I caused it. And repent. Because you'll start seeing the Bible enact on your life for the good, for the blessings, and the curses. Consequences. You start seeing that. Consequences behind your actions. One thing I'm going to realize in this life, people. Tomorrow is not promised for nobody. And you can only do what you can do. So why worry? But at the end of the day, look in the mirror, but like, did I do what was right? Did I do what was right in the eyes of the Lord? One of the worst things as a human being, and everybody can relate to this, is getting a check for such and such amount of money. And then come Friday, Sunday afternoon, that check almost gone. And you're like, how am I going to get through? But look in the mirror, but like, did I get what I needed? Did I get this? Did I get that? Did I get that? What about all those lustful things that I can't afford? I ain't get that. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. Look in the mirror. You know why a lot of people are poor right now? Mismanagement of funds. Been there, done that. Mismanagement of funds. Your priorities change. You know, I was so bad on weed years ago, people. And people are like, weed is not an addiction. Weed ain't like crack and everything else. Yes, it is. I was addicted to it. I didn't want to eat no more. I just wanted to stay high. Yeah. Weed is just like anything else. Coca-Cola, anything else. Let's say you got $5 in your pocket. and you need some food at the house, but your favorite drink is Coca-Cola, you have no more Coca-Colas, and you got 2 kids. You're like, what are you going to get? Are you going to pay for a 12-pack of Coca-Colas that cost $6? Or let's say you got $7. You got enough just to get a 6-pack of Coca-Cola, but your family hungry. What are you going to do? You see, God looks at those things. You see, that's why I don't beat people up. I tell people all the time. I say, I don't care what you do. It's your life. God knows your heart. But take care of home first. And I've spread this message to y'all. Then I get to a situation like, hey, Houston, you remember that message you spread? Put home first. Let's see, can you do it? Yeah, that's how it works. Hey, man, people cheat all the time. You know what? I see some people cheating all the time and this and that. And then about 2 weeks later, you come up on somebody and they want to tempt you to cheat. Tempt you to do something that you know is wrong. That's how the Bible works. You understand, people? When to whom much is given, much is required. Let's take that for example. Let's say you just started reading the Bible, right? You just started reading the Bible, and God spake all these. You just open the Bible just like I did to Exodus 20. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now, you read that, thou shalt have no other gods before me. You read it. It's in you. It's a requirement now. Look how simple that is. No other God before me. Now you're going to go through life. You remember what I said. You read it. You got it now. You know why a lot of people don't like to read the whole Bible? Because they want to pick and choose. Well, I never read that part yet. Well, guess what? That's why you got people like me and people like everybody else who's like, I did. And he brought them to the board of his sanctuary. I'm just saying, for real. You can't keep using that excuse as, I never read that before. I didn't know that part. A lot of people don't read more because they don't want to know more. Because they know that once they know it, once they read it in this Bible, once their eyes saw it, you got to start enacting it in your life. It's very simple. And it takes time. You know, there's a lot of preachers up there be like, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not commit adultery. And have. And don't say nothing about it. Or some ain't even went through the test yet. They done went through 10 years and they so proud of themselves. They're like, okay, let's see. Job moment incoming. Satan has been watching you. So Satan came to me. This is the Lord talking to you. Satan came to him and was like, hey, take your servant, whoever you are, to say to my mouth. You see, he been doing good. He been doing good, but you put a wedge around him. I see why he praised you. Because look, he got everything he could possibly want. Look, how his bills paid. He got food. He got steaks. Look at that. Well, why wouldn't he not praise you? So if it happened to Job, you think it can't happen to you? It's going to happen to you. He said his accuser always accusing the brethren. Who is the accuser? Satan. But it's up to how you're acting. Satan's job is to get you to do what? Curse God and die. Even Sarah had doubts in times. This the God you still want to trust? You ain't even had no baby yet. The Lord said he will provide. He said he will provide. It's easy to say that. God will provide when you need provided for. Then everything changes. You get upset. But you got to remember what you read. Don't be a forgetful hearer, but be a doer also. I know how to be abased. I know how to suffer hunger. Oh, you do? Next week, you finna suffer hunger. Let's see if you know how to do it, since you think you know how. You see people, the righteous will suffer. You're going to go through some things, but you can lean upon Psalm 91. Those who trust God. This is what happens when you trust God. And then you'll read the stories of the wicked. This is what happens when you don't. Saul, stripped kingdom, a replacement. And he became an enemy of the Lord because he was an enemy of David. Went from a God-fearing, doing what God designed him to do, to having his title stripped. You think you're not going to go through something? Yes, you are. But are you going to keep going? That's the question. Are you going to keep going? Now when I'm old and gray-headed, Lord, let me not rest till I have showed your works and talked about everything to every generation that comes. Ain't that amazing? Are you willing to last that long? Are you ready to give up? Most people are ready to give up and run. I've ran before. Just like Jonah. But did you come back? Did you stay gone? If you haven't given your life over to Jesus Christ, I advise you to do so. Let him instruct you. Let him guide you. It's going to take some trial and error. It's going to take some arguments. It's going to take some fighting. It's going to take some truths and reveal in regards to yourself and in regards to other people around you. It's going to take forgiveness. It's going to take all those things. Are you ready for that? But that's what happens when you give your life to God. A lot of people, if you read the story of Job, you will see the story of a Christian. Somewhat. Like in Job's story, he ended with so much abundance. Like he got everything replaced. But the thing is, what didn't he do? He didn't give up. Yeah, he was like, God, take me now, this and that, all kind of sayings. Yeah, but guess what? He stayed at it. Are you willing to stay at it? You know, man, one of the hardest things as a Christian is to be not mean to people, but be truthful. Because a lot of people hate the truth. But sometimes you got to take, God got to take from you so you can reveal who you truly are, so he can fix you. Have a blessed day, people. Stay at that Bible, stay reading it. Remember, you got to trust him, no matter what. Remember, take care of home first, no matter what. Have a blessed day.